Hi there, my name is Jason Perkins. I'm a Georgia workers' compensation attorney that specializes in helping injured workers with their workers' compensation claims. Today, I'd like to talk to you about some important changes in Georgia's workers' compensation law. Changes in Georgia's workers' compensation law happen regularly. They almost happen on a yearly basis. There's two main parts of Georgia's workers' compensation law that you need to know about. The first is the statutes that make up Georgia's workers' compensation law, and those are put together by the state legislature. Those are your elected officials. There's also the state board's rules. That's the Georgia State Board of Workers' Compensation. Those are put together by the directors of the State Board of Workers' Compensation. And the directors are generally appointed by your elected officials. The governor generally chooses them. And those rules affect your workers' compensation case as well. So let's talk about some important changes to those laws and rules. One change that you need to know about is a change that was made about 3 years ago now, and that's a change that affected how long you can get medical treatment in a workers' compensation case. And what that change did is limited your right to get medical treatment for your injury to 400 weeks from when you were injured in most cases. This change was detrimental to a lot of injured workers who need medical treatment for longer than that. For example, if you had an injury that resulted in amputation and you have a prosthesis, then those prostheses need to be replaced every so often. But under the change in the law, the insurance company may be able to get off the hook after 400 weeks, which is roughly 7.5 years. So that really hurts those people who are seriously injured and need medical treatment for a long time. Now, there is an exception to that change for catastrophic cases. They're not affected by that change. And again, that change only applies to people who were injured after June 30th of 2013. I've talked about catastrophic designation in another video, so you can watch that one to find out kind of how to get your case designated catastrophic potentially. Another important change to know about is changes that have been made in the state board's rules recently about the panel of physicians. A panel of physicians is a list of workers' compensation doctors that you have a right to choose from after your injury as far as what doctor is going to be your authorized treating physician, which is a term that basically means your main workers' compensation doctor. And a big change about the panel of physicians is the removal of the word non-associated from Board Rule 201. What that non-associated said is that the 6 doctors, or at least 6 doctors that your employer has to put on that list had to be non-associated before in order for that list to be valid. Recently, the state board took that word out of that rule. And so there's a question now as to whether your employer can just put associated doctors on the list. And where that really becomes a concern is if your employer put multiple doctors from the same medical practice on the panel of physicians. Because if you're supposed to get a choice of 6 doctors, if 3, 4, or 5 of those doctors are from the same medical practice, then you're really not getting much of a choice. So I think most people would agree that doctors who are at the same medical practice are very likely or unlikely to be independent of each other as far as, what they would say about your injury. So that's a change of concern, and it's not yet clear as to exactly what that change means and how it may affect things in the future. The important thing to understand about the panel of physicians is that if your employer does not have a valid posted panel of physicians, you can pick any doctor you want to treat your injury, which is a big advantage because you can get a doctor who's going to be fair to your case. Whereas the 6 doctors who are on the list published by your employer may not always be fair to you. Another change that's been made in the workers' compensation law recently, that's a change that occurs quite often, is an increase in the workers' compensation rates. Recently, they've been increased to a maximum of $575 per week if your date of injury is after a certain date. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to necessarily draw $575 a week for your injury. What it means is the maximum rate that you could draw is $575 a week now. Now, if you have an injury before the date that change was made, then your maximum is still going to be the maximum that was in effect at the time of the injury. And again, that's something that the Georgia legislature changes pretty regularly. I hope you found this information helpful today. If you have, please let me know by giving this video a thumbs up or by liking it. Also, if you want to be notified of future videos as I publish them, then you can just subscribe to this channel and you'll get a notification as videos come out. If you've got questions, I'd recommend visiting our website, www.perkinslawtalk.com. There's lots of helpful information about workers' compensation there. And if you have particular questions you'd like to ask me, I'd be happy to schedule a free consultation with you. You can set one up either by doing it through our website or by calling me at 770-214-8885. I'd like to thank you for watching today and wish you the best of luck as you recover from your injury.